Looks like I'm going live. I was just getting a thumbnail and here we are. So anyways, I'm ready to go. But I wanted to talk to you today about how we can get so anxious and so wearied and so caught up in life in general that our focus goes from where we want it to be upwards to down, 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 down. And it can happen very quickly. I had an incident happen in my life last week that was very parallel to something that I was reading about in Numbers 21 today. So that's what kind of popped out at me, of course, was just how our human nature causes us to do this, and God's solution for it is practical and simple, yet we tend to not do it. So why? It's because we allow things to pull us down and to get us caught up with where we're struggling. So what am I talking about? So in Numbers 21, the people are getting wearied from their journey, and that's basically what it says. And so they start grumbling and complaining. Not a new story. That's something that's been happening since the Exodus began. But they're grumbling and complaining because the journey is getting long. And yet, later on in the chapter, their journey gets a lot longer as God is kind of maneuvering them through places that aren't so safe, more hostile, or have a lot of temptations that he knows that they need to avoid. And so purposefully, he's navigating them through what seems to be kind of a waste of time and something that they really shouldn't have to be doing. Well, he had a purpose in it. And so in their grumbling, he wanted to nip that right away because he knew that the journey was a whole lot longer than where they had already been. And so what was his solution? Well, he sent out some serpents that basically eliminated quite a few of them, especially the ones that probably grumbled the most and were causing the others to stop looking to God and start thinking about doing something else. And it made me stop and think back to my event from last week about how easily we can get just caught into things and the spiral happens so quickly. I had a friend comment to me the other day when we were talking. She goes, "You seem so even keeled. You just handle things so well." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I do not." The thing that I do, and this is my example, is that I quickly correct myself and remind myself not to be looking where I'm looking and to look up to God instead. So my event last week involved, we got a letter in the mail that was very upsetting about just some business things going on with the personal business we have. And soon after that, in an hour and a half, I got contacted about something that I'd been planning with a conference I'm speaking at, and just completely upset all the plans that I had made for that. And then within about a 20-minute span, some things happened on social media that just exploded. And it was like one thing after another. I found myself like walking in circles because I was just spiraling downwards really quick. And I stopped myself and went, wait, what am I doing? I need to just turn this over to God. And I'm like, I started pointing out, okay, God, this is where you were working when we set up this business. You know how to handle this situation. We cannot react to it. I just got to leave this in your hands. As far as, the conference preparations, you led me into this place, and it was basically, he backed me into a corner. And so you have to take care of this. And again, with the social media stuff, it's like, you know what, just clear it up. We just need you to clear this up. And things happen very quickly. Clarity of mind was something that I realized that instantly God gave me. And there's still some things in that with the business that aren't worked out yet, but the other two instances were worked out rather quickly and expediently, and in a way that was godly. Probably not how I would have handled it if I hadn't turned it over to God. So the same thing that God was telling the Israelites: stop grumbling, stop focusing down here. He had Moses build a stick with a serpent on it so that they would look up on this thing that God had commanded them to do to be healed, instead of looking down at the bites that they were getting from these fiery serpents. And that may not make a lot of sense to us about why put a serpent on a pole, and it has a lot of interesting relevance to the gospel, but I'm not going to go into that today. But the thing is if we look down and we look at those little nips and bites that life gives us, and we're so focused on them, we can get so caught up in that we lose our focus, we lose our clarity, we lose the ability to just do what God wants us to do, and to stop grumbling and complaining and trust in Him. And instead, we have to say, I am not going to look at what my sinful nature wants me to look at. I'm going to look at God. I'm going to turn to Him, and I'm going to give it over to Him, and I'm going to trust that He has a better way. And by focusing on Him, by stopping, by looking to God, and by listening, that is how I'm going to get through this. And it's every day that we do that. And by trusting Him, obeying Him, and just walking on this path with Him. So hope that's an encouragement for you today. Thanks for joining me on Daily Revelations. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.